Hey everybody, it's Jimmy and Bill. So today, I think Bill's kind of hurting with his back, so
Yeah, I'm dying today, guys. I'm sorry.
so we're gonna walk a little bit slower.
Whew.
But today's subject is a lot of people I'm noticing act like they're rich when they're really not.
No use in being poor and acting poor. It's just something I used to hear when I was a kid.
And why I'm doing a video on this, I was just curious what you guys think. So let's talk about it. In the meantime, if you like these kind of videos, do me a favor, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. All right, let me start. I met some people and they're buying a house.
Mm-hmm.
And they qualified for the mortgage.
Okay.
Okay? Beautiful house. Beautiful house. Everything's all cool and everything. But they're admitting, and I couldn't figure it out because they qualified for the mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we really can't afford this house, but hey, our friends live down the street. So, you know, we want to live near our friends, and their friends are living in $1 million house. So they're like, hey, you know what? We'll get $1 million house.
Oof.
And I've heard them talking, and she was saying, you know, her job wasn't that stable. Okay? So I was like, that's what spurred this whole thing is. It's like, okay, the friends showed up, you know, and they were in one of those convertible Jags or whatever they are,
Uh-huh.
you know, and polo shirts. So, you know, they look like they have money. But do people really have money? Like, you know, how many people, like, people buy these nice $80,000, $100,000 trucks and they're paying $1,400 a month for a car payment. You know, so just because they're driving a shiny car, you know, that's a really expensive
Well,
car.
it just depends. So, I mean, there's, just on the car subject, there's people that just like vehicles. That's their thing.
Okay.
So it's like, all right, cool. You know, but they live in a modest house or whatever, because like I said, sometimes people just like certain things. Everybody likes their certain toy, right? On the other side of that, is the keeping up with the Joneses, side of things. Like you said, hey, I get it. People want to live in the neighborhood with their friends and this, that, and the other. But if they're overextending themselves, or if they have that one bad month, or a couple bad months, or an economic downturn, they're going to be in a bad way. Maybe they should just not, move, in that specific situation. And, how many times have we talked about it? And I know I've heard it from, different friends of mine and acquaintances and things, where people they go into the pay before they win type of thing, So in other words, they're paying for something on the hopes that they're gonna get the job,
Right.
And that's never really a good way to do business.
Keeping up with the Joneses, me and Tanya, we were in Savannah, Georgia, and there was a street there that I think that's where the term came from, keeping up with the Joneses, because everybody had these, they're beautiful houses. They're still beautiful to this day, but it's like keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing. Like each person was competing against the other person.
Right, yeah, it's
on
like a
their house.
status symbol kind of thing. That could be applied to anything: vehicles, jewelry, clothes, shoes. If you're always constantly striving to outdo the next person, or, maybe they have a better job, they have more income, whatever, you don't know. Maybe they're just spending money on credit. Who knows? But, if they don't like you for you, then, it is what it is.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to act rich when you're not,
Yeah.
it could be a bad situation, because this is what's, a lot of people are living on credit cards.
Right, and you're jacking up those credit card debts, like I said, trying to, buy things before before you have the money, or in the hopes that, I'm gonna land this, account or this job, what have you. That's a dangerous game, and that can lead to trouble.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know, Bill. It's just like everybody's living on credit these days. They're buying stuff that that it seems like just wants to make them feel better and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Impulse buys, comfort buys, like comfort food, you know, eh, maybe go on a trip or do something with somebody, and make some lasting memories and
But
versus
like,
just buy something to buy things.
buying houses that you can't afford, or buying cars you can't afford, or, it's crazy. Like, I know somebody that just lives down the street from me. They bought a bicycle. It was a beautiful bicycle, but they paid $7,000 for it.
For a bike?
Yeah, it's one of those like racing
Oh, like a race
ones,
bike. Yeah. Okay.
with that you can pick it up with one finger or something.
Yeah.
But I'm like, come on. I was like, are you doing it competitively? No, But they're like, hey, they said they got it. No payments or no interest, one of them. No interest for 6 months through, I think he said, PayPal credit or something.
Okay.
But 6 months goes by really fast.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
And then what do? They hit you with what, 25, 30%? I don't know what the interest rate is. But
and it's the back interest too.
yeah, because it goes from day one.
It goes from day one, yeah. If you don't pay it off, that's usually how those things work. So you just got to be careful with that kind of stuff. And, there's no sense in, I get it, everybody wants to feel good. And listen, I understand. I'm like, if you've got a power outfit or you're going to something that's special and you want to feel good and, get a new outfit or something like that.
Treat yourself. Yeah,
treat yourself. That's totally fine. It's not what we're saying. We're saying like that's the everyday. Like you're just going to the mall to shop and buy stuff just because you want to go to the mall and shop and buy stuff that you don't necessarily need because you don't want to be seen wearing the same polo shirt or t-shirt, twice or something along those lines. I mean, if you can afford that, great. That's totally cool. If that's your splurge, that's totally cool. But just make sure your bills and stuff are paid for, and and I deal with customers too that are they get upset because they have to, maybe they didn't proceed with the deal on a house because they found something wrong with an inspection, but they spent the money on the inspection and now they have to go, they're backing out of the deal because it's just the better choice, but they're out the inspection money and now they have to come up with the inspection money again, and it's tough for them, and that's a very difficult situation, an unfortunate situation, but and then I've seen these people come up in their brand new cars, so it's just those are the things that I kind of shrug my shoulders with and just go, huh? And kind of tilt my head. That doesn't make sense.
Here's a funny one. This was last week. So, we have some panhandlers, and I understand, they need money, they want food or they want drink or whatever, so they were out there. So once in a while, I give them money, but it was funny because this person I see her there all the time, and she's a panhandler. She was leaving and she was getting into a car. I'm talking about like a 2023 Hyundai, like a brand new one. So she's panhandling, saying that she needs money for food, which is totally...
And she probably does need money for food.
I know, but what I'm just saying is...
Because she's got to make a car payment.
Yeah, you need transportation, and I get that. And I'm not knocking anything, okay? But I'm just saying, come on,
Right.
Buy a cheaper vehicle or something, It's just...
I don't know if the cheap and vehicle go hand in hand anymore, I tell you.
No, I know. I mean, I just think that the whole concept of keeping up with the Joneses, or we need this house, because our friends have this house,
Yeah.
Like, oh, our friends moved here and they live in a 3,000 or 5,000 square foot house. So I run into this all the time. I'm like, I'm doing an inspection, 4,500 square feet. And then I figured it was husband, wife, kids, or whatever, And they're like, no, it's just me and my wife. I'm like,
it's a big house.
I said, this is a 5-bedroom, 4-bath house. Yeah, but our friends, they live in a 6-bedroom down the street. They literally told me that.
Hey, to each their own. If that's what they want to spend their money on, more power to them. But if you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, if you will, and you're having trouble and it's stressing you out and you're struggling, just evaluate some things. You can't, you just can't live like that. Be happy. Money's not everything.
The house was expensive, but at the same time, okay, So then the wife was telling the husband, like, listen, we need new appliances for this house, but we could wait for the Memorial Day sale. Maybe we could put it on, no interest for 24 months that Home Depot has.
Right.
So, like, I felt like I didn't say anything, but I felt like saying, don't buy this house.
Right.
You know, because think about it, probably 3 out of the bedrooms are just going to sit empty.
Yeah. Yeah. They just. I don't know what it is. Some people just, that's just what they want to do. And, they're prolific buyers or prolific home buyers, or they're just always flipping, I don't know.
Like me, I don't know if I never told you this, okay, because I bought the truck and I have the other truck, but I wanted to buy a Corvette, brand new 2024 Corvette.
Uh-huh.
I don't have room to put it anywhere.
Like, where are you putting that thing? But okay, whatever. That's why you're cleaning out the garage.
But at the same time, I said to myself, first of all, I never even told Tanya about it yet.
Yeah.
So maybe I can convince her. But I'm like, do I really need it?
No.
I don't.
No.
But see, my point with that one is, it's not to keep up with the Joneses, because I don't know anybody that has one.
Right.
This is just for me.
Right.
Because I want it. I used to have one. I enjoyed it, and I wanted the new one. So it's not. So there's different phases of buying stuff.
Of course.
Okay, we're saying the videos about acting rich, but on that point, there's some people that just buy Ferraris, buy something expensive. A, they could afford it. B, they just want it. They reached a point in their life where they're like, you know what?
They can afford that.
I'm not taking this money with me.
Right. Yeah. There's something to be said about that too. You get there to that point, you have that kind of money, you do what you want to do. It doesn't really matter. You buy what you want to buy. Who cares?
Like, I know a few people and a couple of relatives that saved, okay?
Yeah.
And then they got sick, then they passed away.
Right.
They were waiting for that perfect opportunity to go and travel the world.
Yeah, I get that. It's like, you got to just, don't put things off, please.
If you could afford it, you can.
Yeah.
So basically, in one sense, we're saying, hey, if you can't afford it, don't try to keep up with the Joneses or your friends. But if you could afford it, and you're comfortable with it, don't wait till you're later in life, which you may have health issues that might prevent you from doing it.
And it doesn't even necessarily have to be that. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. If there's one thing that I learned in the fire service, that tomorrow is not guaranteed. It doesn't matter what your age is. Not to be negative or doomsday, but this is just reality. So, like, if there's something that you want to do and you can afford it, go out and do it. It's going to change your life. It's your mindset. We've done some trips that were just amazing. We saved up and we took some pretty epic trips, for a family vacation that, it's like, I didn't want to put that off. What if something else came up? What if I got hurt? It's like my back, and I couldn't do that anymore. My back's not that bad, but, it's just, those are the things that you don't want to put off, because maybe you can't go to that place anymore because they shut it down. Like the one place that we did go to, they're talking about closing it off to tourism because the tourists are damaging so much of the history at the location that they're
in South America. You went
yeah,
to?
yeah, Machu Picchu. They talked about closing it down to tourism, or limiting it, and that's something that it's one of the 7 wonders of the world, and you're never going to see that. For me not to see that, that was like a trip that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah. Right now in the world, I feel there's a lot of uncertainty for a lot of things. So I think it's the worst time ever to try to keep up with the Joneses, let's just say.
Yeah.
But at the same time, yes, you should be secure for your future. But, and this is my opinion. I'm not giving advice, but it's my opinion. If you could afford something and you really want to do it, maybe it's better to do it sooner than later, because just from my experiences, a lot of people that waited, that they never came.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's so true. Save your money and go on the trip. You know, because now your bills are paid, you've got that money sitting in your bank account, and that's your trip money. That's what that money is for, and that's what we do, you know. And that way we don't have to stress over it. Because when we go on vacation, it doesn't have to be anything epic and big.
No.
It can be
No.
an overnight somewhere. It could be a one-day trip. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be these epic things. You know, not everything has to be so extravagant.
No.
You know, just enjoy seeing things that you like to see.
Yeah, but again, like this video, too many people are trying to act rich when they're
Right.
really not.
Yeah. So,
So that's it. So that's today's video. Do me a favor, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. It's greatly appreciated. And we will talk to you in the next video.
see you on the next video. Thanks.
Bye.